All right, everybody, here we go with game number 1 between Sen and EG iNcontroL. This starting map is going to be on NASL's Belshire Beach, and I'm joined alongside my good old friend Orb. Orb, how you doing, man?
As always, I'm doing great, Andre. Always a great day to spectate some amazing high-level Starcraft 2 action. And we got some high-level players here indeed, man. Sen, such a good Zerg player. This guy is like a hero for the Zerg race. He's been doing, well, I don't know about results terribly well, but I mean, he's just such an overall phenomenal player. And of course, his opponent, iNcontroL, I think everybody knows who iNcontroL is. Pretty big figure in the community. Probably not quite as well known for being a top-level player, but also is a great commentator and has generally really intelligent thoughts about the game that we see on, shows all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he is one of the more theoretical-based players. It's always great to see him. He was, of course, with me casting NASL Season 1. Great time to have him. But he recently transferred over, went to the EG house, and is just training to be a professional gamer. We're going to see him looking like he wants to do a Forge Expand, and I know from personal talks with him, he really likes Forge Expands. He just says, Forge Expand, go from there, get, the Stargate, get what's it called, the Mass Gateway units. What he really looks to get is that super composition with High Templars and Colossus, and it feels like you are the most efficient person in the world.
Yeah, he definitely likes to play that Deathball style of play. I watch his stream all the time. He very often goes to just late game with a lot of Colossi. All of his army just kind of in one big kind of standard Protoss Deathball. But iNcontroL is also one of those players you really have to worry about in a tournament situation because he has a lot of tricks he will pull out of his hat. The number of times I've seen him win tournament games with just having a pylon hidden in his opponent's base, I can't even count. So those types of plays, those types of little tricky plays, he does cannon rushes all the time. Those types of things are going to be Sen's going to have to keep those in mind if he wants to not get caught off guard here, because in this type of a tournament, you can't afford to just miss one pylon and lose a game as a result. You will just be put too far behind in the series. So Sen's just going to have to be extremely vigilant in this game.
Definitely, and I think he always expects that kind of stuff. Now, interesting enough, he didn't go the extract for quite a long time. He delays, I know, for quite a while his gas mining, which further delays his metabolic boost. And doing that really stops any form of complete map control. If iNcontroL went some sort of very fast stalker first, he would be able to get tons and tons of kills, probably some drone kills, additionally a lot of Zerg kills, and I've even seen players get something like queen kills just because that stalker can never be attacked until that metabolic boost is done.
Absolutely, very true. Of course, a little bit more common when you see Zerg players go for that hatchery first, as that speed is going to be delayed so long, but with the pool first can still be somewhat useful. But with this Forge expansion, we're not going to see any aggression from iNcontroL other than the possibility of something like a cannon rush, which he's not actually going to be doing. Just use that pylon to block the expansion from Sen. But look at that nice little probe placement to the bottom left of the expansion that has not been scouted. These Zerglings are running around trying to find where that probe went. But they haven't been able to find it so far, so it's possible iNcontroL might be able to do something sneaky with that probe, maybe set up something like a cannon rush. At the very least, might be able to get some extra scouting information. Yep,
he's just chilling out around there. I think he sees that expansion on, oh my gosh. Actually, he heard you, Orb. He's like, not gonna cannon rush. I'm gonna show him all the way on the bottom, puts down that cannon, and we might be seeing, oh, the Zerglings actually spotted out. And there is no cannon going on down over there. iNcontroL, he sneaky sneaks here, but not going to be too sneaky.
That's exactly the diligence I was talking about from Sen. You really have to be careful. Send your Zerglings around to every single possible corner in your base. I'm actually pretty surprised they didn't check some of the corners in his main base. That's certainly the first thing I would do when playing against iNcontroL. He is so known for that kind of play. But since that was denied, that's going to not allow iNcontroL to actually put on any pressure for a while here. So that's going to give Sen a pretty safe opportunity to do whatever he wants. A lot of Zerg players in this situation will just go take a third very, very quickly. Looks like Sen did make quite a few Zerglings here. They're sending across the map. Speed did just finish, so it looks like he might try to do some type of run by here. iNcontroL does have a pretty nice wall off setup, but without any attacking units thus far, he's going to be using just probes to block off. So if these Zerglings can run by, they may be able to get into the main. Is he going to block iNcontroL? Oh no, the reaction time's not quite quick enough. Oh no, misses it, allows all the Zerglings into the main. There are no cannons or even pylons to set up cannons set up there. And now iNcontroL is going to lose a ton of probes. He should probably be running these to the natural. He's losing so many right now, Andre.
Oh my goodness, and these Zerglings are just running amok. There was no pylon placed back here, as you said, so it makes it so difficult. Now the Zerglings are going in for round number 2. GG calls out from iNcontroL, and Sen's going to take a very quick win in game number 1. What a quick win for Sen. He was able to just make Zerglings and win. Literally didn't even have to do anything. iNcontroL was not able to block in time with his probes, but even if he was able to, you know, kind of move them, it's very hard to completely wall off to the point where, you know, the Zerglings can't run by. The hold position, there's a lot of space between there. They can just funnel on in, and, you know, it's still difficult. Like, how do you stop something like that as a Protoss player? Or
Well, there's a couple things you can do. First off, it's actually very map dependent. On a map like Belshire, that's actually kind of one of the reasons a lot of Protosses just don't want to go for that Forge expansion.
Yep.
Because on a map like that, it's hard to defend. Now, there's 2 ways to do a Forge expansion. One is you completely wall off some type of choke point, like you can do on Shakira's Plateau. The other way is you wall off to your Nexus, which is what we saw iNcontroL do there. And unfortunately, it's a little bit less secure since you can still run around the Nexus. You don't have a full wall off. But all you really have to do is just make sure you send all of your probes over. There was just one unit space choke point that was next to the cannon. That was literally the only space that Sen had the opportunity to run through. So maybe iNcontroL was a little bit distracted, macroing, doing something. Unfortunately, didn't see those coming on the minimap. If you do spot them in time, basically just have to send those probes to block that spot. And if you can block it, usually those 2 cannons are going to be enough to take out those links before they can push through your probes. So it's unfortunate that he died in that regard, but I almost feel like I was watching a Brood War game. We saw that type of a run by happen
all the
time in Brood War. And that was kind of why you saw Protoss players in Brood War. I mean, without the building grid that they could place, people actually had to spend hours and hours practicing and figuring out Forge wall offs. Like literally, I spent as a Protoss player, I spent hours. Every time a new map came out, I'm like, oh, Othello, like I'm gonna go check this out. I'm gonna figure out the Forge expansions for all 4 spawn points. It's hard to do, man. So
the same thing with Terran, man. You have to work out your SimCity. I mean, obviously, I think Jeff did have, or excuse me, iNcontroL did have good SimCity that game.
Oh, yeah.
But like, if he threw down a pylon at that last second and then stuck probes there, I think that would have been the best thing he could possibly done. Nevertheless, Sen was able to get in there, win very, very easily. Too many probe deaths, and there you have it. So we're going to go into game number 2 and see if iNcontroL can bounce back or Sen can close out 2-0. We'll be back after this break.